Good evening, Yorktown. Supervisor Matt Slater coming to you from Yorktown Town Hall. Evening of Friday, March 20th. Wanted to provide you with what is now our daily briefing pertaining to COVID-19, also known as the coronavirus. I'm joined here today with Yorktown Police Chief Robert Noble and the President of the Yorktown Chamber of Commerce, Sergio Esposito. Going to go right into the numbers. I know that's where people want to hear most information about. We are still having an information delay between the state, the county, to us, the locality. But our numbers, we did get new numbers from Westchester County today that show we now have, and again, I want to take a step back. These numbers are about 48 to 72 hours stale. So I want you all to remember this. The number we have is 8. Personally, I expect the real number to be 3 times of what that number is. But right now, according to state and county officials, we have now 8 confirmed tests in the town of Yorktown. Again, that number is about 48 to 72 hours stale, so I expect that number to be nearly 3 times in real time. New York State now has more than 7,000 positive cases, which is number 1 in the country. Westchester County has over 1,091. Westchester County's numbers doubled since yesterday. And that has a lot to do, we've talked about this and we've done this every night, that has a lot to do with the testing. We're doing a lot more testing. So the more we test, the more positive cases we are seeing. So let's keep it all in perspective as best we can. Speaking of the tests, 32,000 tests across New York State. They tested 10,000 people just yesterday. In Westchester, a total of 7,100 tests total. And again, yesterday they performed 1,482, just under 1,500 in Westchester County. The mobile testing site is still down in New Rochelle at Glen Island. We are trying to, again, establish additional mobile testing sites. We are awaiting the Rockland County testing site to come online, which will facilitate more mobile testing for our region. In regards to testing, New York State has now tested more than China and South Korea, and I really want to applaud Governor Cuomo for his leadership and tenacity to make that a reality. But again, keep it in perspective. We are seeing an increase in numbers because we're seeing an increase in testing. Hospitalization rate is, once again, statewide hospitalization rate is 18%. And because we continue to see the increase in confirmed cases, again, direct result of the increased testing, the governor continues to issue additional orders. And we went from 50% to 75% workforce reduction. Today, the governor has taken this step to mandate a 100% workforce reduction for non-essential personnel. This takes place at 8 p.m. Sunday, March 22nd. Again, this Sunday, March 22nd, 100% workforce reduction for all non-essential businesses statewide. In fact, they will be closed. If you're a non-essential business, will be closed effective 8 p.m. Sunday. This is part of the governor's 10-point New York State on pause plan. Here in Yorktown, frankly, I believe we were quite ahead of the curve, and so we had already started restricting access to public places. Those all stay in effect for the weekend as we continue down this road. I want to go through the 10 points of the New York State on pause plan issued by Governor Cuomo earlier today. As I said, effective at 8 p.m. on Sunday, March 22nd, all non-essential businesses statewide will be closed. And for those who are trying to understand what is essential versus non-essential, please go to the town website, yorktownny.org. You can go onto the website. We have a COVID-19 page dedicated to all this information. We actually continue to put new information as it becomes verified on that website. And so we have something from the governor's office that classifies what they are considering essential personnel and essential businesses on the yorktownny.org website. In addition, non-essential gatherings of individuals of any size for any reason are canceled or postponed at this time. I'm going to read it again. Non-essential gatherings of individuals of any size for any reason are canceled or postponed at this time. And some examples include parties, celebrations, or other social events. So we've seen that trajectory. We've seen the 50-person limit, and now we are at non-essential gatherings of individuals are hereby canceled. Any concentration of individuals outside of their home must be limited to workers providing essential services, and social distancing should be practiced. When in public, individuals must practice social distancing, and we've talked about this quite a bit, social distancing, and that's 6 feet of separation. Businesses and entities that provide other essential services must implement rules that help facilitate social distancing of at least 6 feet. Again, go to our website. If you are questioning whether or not you are an essential company or provide an essential service, go to our website, yorktownny.org, and we have that classification on our website. Individuals should limit outdoor recreational activities to non-contact and avoid activities where they come in close contact with other people. Again, something I believe we were ahead of the curve on when we closed all of our active parks. This is exactly what we were trying to accomplish, and now it is happening across the state. Individuals should limit use of public transportation to when absolutely necessary, and should limit potential exposure by spacing out at least 6 feet from other riders. Again, if you're using mass transportation, we are still urging you and pleading that you continue social distancing. Sick individuals should not leave their homes unless to receive medical care, and only after a telehealth visit to determine if leaving the home is in the best interest of their health. Here's the phone number, 888-364-3065, 888-364-3065. That is the state's COVID-19 hotline, and that's where you can go and make an appointment for one of our mobile testing sites. Again, you cannot just show up to one of the mobile testing sites. You need to call the number. For young people, they are urged, again, to practice social distancing and avoid contact with vulnerable populations. And I think I've said this a few times already. This isn't spring break. This is serious. Your actions can pose, frankly, a significant risk to the point of death to someone you love. I've talked about my grandmother. She's still not talking to me because I won't go see her at this point in time. I just am continuing to distance myself from her, and this is why. So for all of our young people who are home, finishing up their semesters from college, for all of our high schoolers who are home, this is not spring break. This is life-threatening situations that you need to respect and that you need to recognize. Of course, the 10th point is to use precautionary sanitizer practices such as alcohol wipes whenever possible. In addition, the governor also put forward what he has titled Matilda's Law, named after his mother, and this is applying to vulnerable populations, our seniors, those with compromised immunities, those who have a history of respiratory issues. We are very concerned for this population. And so Matilda's Law includes the following rules. Remain indoors. You can go outside for solitary exercise. And we had our Parks and Recreation Superintendent Jim Moderano here last night, and he provided information about Yorktown Trail Town. And we have information that you can go online, yorktowntrailtown.com, and you can go right online to see all the different trails that we have available for you that continue to be open. For the vulnerable populations, we urge you to pre-screen all visitors and aides, something that, again, we were ahead of the curve of in Yorktown, asking all of the home health aides to be screened and cleared before getting new assignments. Pre-screen all visitors and aides by taking their temperature and seeing if the person is exhibiting other flu-like symptoms. That's something very important for everyone. If you're having visitors, especially that vulnerable population, first off, you shouldn't be having visitors, but if you do happen to have visitors, please be aware of those symptoms. Do not visit households with multiple people. Wear a mask when in the company of others. And I know that's very unnerving for some, but it's important. If you do have people or you find yourself, and again, this is the vulnerable population, our seniors, those with compromised immunities and respiratory issues. If you find yourself in mixed company, we urge you to wear a mask. To the greatest extent possible, everyone in the presence of vulnerable people should wear a mask. That, of course, includes our home health aides and anyone visiting our seniors or anyone with a compromised immune system. Always stay at least 6 feet away from individuals and do not take public transportation unless urgent and absolutely necessary. These are the steps, again, of Matilda's Law, named after Governor Cuomo's mother, specifically geared towards our seniors and specifically geared toward those with respiratory issues or with immunity issues. The governor also directed, yesterday we discussed waiving mortgage payments that the state has directed, a 90-day window. Again, we do urge you from folks within the mortgage business to make sure you contact your lending company. But the governor has also announced today that a 90-day moratorium on any residential or commercial evictions will be put into place as well. And this all goes towards the economic realities that this has caused. And I'm going to get into that momentarily. I want to once again reemphasize the town's website, yorktownny.org. We have a COVID-19 page that gives you all the information as it is verified, it is posted. I also want to acknowledge my town board members who I continue to communicate with daily, if not more. They've been tremendous, and I know that they are not physically here, but they are in constant communication and continue to be active participants as we manage the town. Governor Cuomo said it best today. What a locality does matters. And again, I've said earlier, Yorktown's been on the forefront. We lead from the front. And we've been ahead of the curve in a lot of things. Today, not just today, but quite frequently over the last few days, I've heard from a lot of people asking for ways that they can get involved. How can they help? So we've identified one way, two ways, but I'm going to talk about the first, and that's to support the town of Yorktown's senior programs. And you, or anyone at home, again, they've done fantastic work through our Meals on Wheels program. They're serving over 100 individuals daily now. For anyone who wants to provide financial support for the Yorktown senior programs, can send a donation to 1974 Commerce Street. Attention Noreen O'Driscoll, who has done a phenomenal job, her and her staff, saving lives by providing meals for our homebound seniors. In the memo, we ask that you write Yorktown Senior Center. And again, those donations will go to support the enhanced Meals on Wheels program and the Yorktown senior programs that we traditionally offer. The second way that we are asking our community to help is by donating PPE material, supplies, that our first responders and frontliners desperately need. What is PPE? We're asking for masks, gowns, and gloves. We have a global shortage on these items, and our town has set up a drop box in the courtyard, Chief, between the Yorktown Police Department and the Yorktown Courthouse. So anyone who has gloves, masks, or gowns, we are urging you, pleading with you, to please donate them through the drop box, and they will be properly distributed to our frontliners, our doctors and our nurses who continue to be on the front line of this, as well as our first responders to make sure that they are continued to be safe. I also want to go back to the economic impact that this is going to have in our community, and clearly there is one. We all know right now restaurants are still only open for takeout and pickup. Of course, I've honored my pledge, and I urge all of you for your takeout pledge. They will remain open. They are considered an essential service, so they will remain open to provide food for a takeout and delivery only option. And again, the Chamber President's here, and I did honor my pledge. I've got my dinner, my family's dinner waiting for me as soon as we are done here tonight. But the economic impact could be quite significant. And to better manage what that impact may be, just like families across Yorktown are doing right now. The town of Yorktown, and I was on a conference call today, just before this briefing, actually, with all of our department heads. I've instructed the town that we will be freezing all non-essential spending to make sure that we are able to absorb the financial impact that this will cause. So our spending will be essential only or COVID-19 related, but all non-essential spending from the town government standpoint is now frozen. With that being said, I do want to invite Chief Noble up to the podium to say a few words. Chief.
Okay. Thank you, Supervisor. And a good Friday evening to everybody watching. Again, I'm here to thank our community for your support. It's been very noticeable. Our most recent updates at police headquarters, we have locked our doors. We are inside. There is an intercom outside. Should you need to come to headquarters, you can buzz in and desk personnel will speak with you through the intercom. Or you can call our basic phone number, 962-4141. That is the non-emergency number. And of course, in an emergency, you can call 911. But if responding to headquarters, we are trying to limit access to our lobby, to our building, in order to keep first responders healthy, to keep our officers and to keep our staff as healthy as possible. It's a smart way to practice aggressive social distancing. And again, we thank you for your cooperation. Again, you will notice a visible presence of the Yorktown Police Department out and about in our community. We may not be able to chat with you, but we are out there. We are responding to all calls for service as best we can. We are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we're here to help, and we will continue to do so. And to support the supervisor's, stance with your grandma. My mother-in-law's got a birthday next week, and she desperately wants to see her grandkids. And unfortunately, we want her to have many more birthdays. So we have to try to FaceTime or call up. And so I'd like to wish my mother-in-law, Linda Matrano, a very happy birthday next week. And we're thinking of you. But, as I would encourage all to do, be smart. We keep saying it. Social distancing. The vulnerable population, our senior citizens, are very susceptible to having severe consequences, life-altering or life-shortening consequences. So please, keep that in mind. Again, I can't say it any better. I thank the supervisor for his support. I'm a regular visitor here at night with him, and we communicate very effectively, and that's to the benefit of every Yorktowner out there. You've got a very proactive town government, and you sure as heck got a proactive police department. And we will be there for you in your time of need. But please, we are trying to protect ourselves so that we can answer the call when you do need us. So thank you again. 962-4141, our non-emergency number, 911 in an emergency. Thank you. Supervisor?
And again, check out our town website, yorktownny.org. It has all of the emergency numbers as well as the state hotline, the Division of Consumer Protection hotline, and an abundance of information for all of our residents at home to help them through this very difficult time. You mentioned FaceTime, and I do want to give a nice acknowledgement to Tom Ciangela, who comes in every night to tape these recordings, and he was telling me that he was playing Hangman with his grandkids via FaceTime. Right, Tom?
I hope you lost.
But that's something that we've discussed a few times before. Again, we're saying social distancing, not social isolation. And so if you can find safe ways to interact and communicate with your loved ones, if you can find safe ways to interact and communicate with that vulnerable population, our seniors, those with compromised immunities, with respiratory ailments, if you can find safe ways like playing Hangman over FaceTime, it's going to go a long way to accomplishing what we are trying to do, which is, frankly, save lives. And it really is that important. So I just wanted to share that one story with everybody. We have Sergio Esposito, president of the Yorktown Chamber of Commerce, who's going to provide some information pertaining to our small businesses and Main Street businesses. Sergio.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Thank you, Chief. Good evening. I hope everyone is staying safe and in good health. I have a lot of information to disseminate, so I'm going to just dive right into it. On March 18, 2020, the House-sponsored relief bill was passed and signed by the President as part of a three-phased approach to help the American people endure these extremely uncertain and difficult times. Phase 1 was passed as emergency funding to fight the coronavirus outbreak. Phase 2 was passed to help individuals and included pay leave for workers and as well as free testing. Some details on Phase 2: there was free coronavirus testing, there was sick pay and family leave, and it bolstered unemployment insurance for millions of Americans. And Phase 3, the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act, which will cost an estimated $1.2 trillion. I want to just note that this bill has not been passed yet. It originated in the Senate and will go to the House where negotiations are in process. Senator McConnell vowed to propose something that was much bolder and went way beyond Phase 2 legislation and is intended to be a stimulus package to help the American people and small businesses endure these trying times. Phase 3, again, called the Coronavirus Relief and Economic Security Act, is a 250-page document and has four main components. The first main component is direct financial help for Americans. Secondly, there will be relief for small businesses. Thirdly, there will be help for impacted industries such as airlines. And lastly, it will bolster healthcare. There will be immediate checks as a first round to the American people. The number being tossed around is $1,200 for individuals making less than $75,000 a year, as well as an additional $500 per child. These caps could be doubled for married couples. There's $208 billion that will be set aside as loans for major industries. Now, it's important to note that these loans to the major industries will have to be paid back, so they're just temporary to help them endure the closures sponsored by the government for the health of the American people. There's $300 billion for small businesses, which would be federally guaranteed. These loans would have to be paid back, but would be forgiven, and this is the important part, if a small business maintains its payroll effectively, allowing people to continue to work and get paid. They're basing these numbers on your 2019 tax returns. These loans could be used for mortgage payments, rent, as well as to facilitate paid sick leave. I believe this method would allow businesses to endure these times without having to permanently close their doors, and the forgiveness option prevents unscrupulous entrepreneurs from lining their pockets. The money will go and be used as intended. Phase 3 has not yet been passed and requires 60 votes in the Senate. Senator McConnell has vowed not to adjourn the Senate until something is passed. I will be closely monitoring this and will report back to all of you as soon as more information comes available. Right now, the bill has gone to the House and the negotiations have begun. I can tell you that the House the Senate, and the President are working together in good faith to help the American people. On another note, interest on student loans, as well as the tax filing deadline, have been postponed with no penalty till July 15th. As you may have already heard, the President invoked wartime powers to defeat the coronavirus and can now ramp up on the production of critical medical supplies, as well as deploy hospital ships to fight this quote-unquote unseen enemy. The President has much broader latitude across the spectrum in dealing with this crisis. The Yorktown Chamber stands at the ready to assist any and all small businesses, regardless of whether you are a member of my organization or not. We are here to stand with the community. If you need help, have a question, want to make a suggestion, please call my office at 914-245-4599. If I can't answer your question, or if my staff can't, we'll get you to people that can. We'll put you in touch with the right people. The supervisor is keeping all of us busy here in town, doing a fantastic job. Or you may email us at info@yorktownchamber.org. The supervisor did mention that he posted a document from the state regarding what essential businesses are. And that, I think, is the biggest question that I've been getting. Am I an essential business? Well, I brought the list with me. It's long. I will just go through the bullet points. You may go to yorktownny.org to check the website. You can also go to yorktownchamber.org or my Facebook page for a list of essential businesses. So the first topic is essential healthcare operations. Secondly, there's essential infrastructure. Then there is essential manufacturing, essential retail, essential services, which include trash and recycling and that kind of stuff. The news media, financial institutions, including banks, insurance, payroll, accounting services, that kind of stuff. Providers of basic necessities to economically disadvantaged populations, homeless shelters, food banks, that kind of stuff. Construction, and there are some categories that you may fall under. Defense, of course, the national defense and security. Essential services necessary to maintain the safety, sanitation, and essential operations of residences or the essential businesses. And then you also have vendors that provide essential services for products. So although the governor has mandated 100% for your workforce, there will still be essential services available to all the people in Yorktown and in America. So remain calm. I know the news comes across as something alarming, but we're all going to get through this. As citizens of Yorktown and as members of our small business community and as Americans, we must all band together and fight. I implore everyone within earshot, don't throw in the towel. Stay in business. Our supervisor, the town board, the Yorktown Chamber, the police department, YVAC, fire department, and many other entities, groups, and organizations. We're all working together. Help has arrived. We've had some packages, some legislative packages passed by our Congress and the President, but more help is still coming, and we will all emerge victorious. So hang in there. Your supervisor is on the job. Your police chief is on the job. We got this covered for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sergio. Just to wrap up and just to touch base one more time for people who are just tuning in. We have 8 been notified by the state of New York and the county of 8 confirmed cases in Yorktown. Again, that number is between 48 and 72 hours old. We expect that number to be 3 times that number based on the number of tests that have been performed and continue to be performed. 7,000 positive cases in the state of New York, which leads the nation. Westchester's positive test rate doubled and is now 1,091. Again, a lot of that has to do with the increased number of testing. The governor, once again, has instituted the New York On Pause initiative, mandating non-essential businesses to be closed as of 8 p.m. Sunday. And go to our website, yorktownny.org, to see the list and categorization which Sergio was providing as to whether or not your business is considered an essential or non-essential business. Also, we will be posting the 10 points of the New York State on pause plan to provide greater clarity for everyone at home. Here in town government, we continue to function. We are still at 50%. The governor, through his order, maintains county and local governments maintain 50%. And we have, like I said earlier, frozen all non-essential spending by town government. You know, this is we've said it before, unprecedented situation. And I just want to encourage our community and our neighbors to hearken back to days and challenges we've overcome before. And I think clearly of 9/11. And I think of how this community rallied around each other, how we lifted each other up. We've done it before. We're going to do it again. And I just want to share, I was reading a story on Facebook of an incident at BJ's earlier today, where there was, of course, a rather lengthy line, and there was a senior in the back with 3 goods. And everyone let the man pass to the front. And that is exactly what Yorktown's about. We're compassionate, we're understanding, we're sensitive, and together, we're going to rally around each other, we're going to lift each other up, and we're going to overcome this very difficult and challenging situation. We are here. We'll continue to work. If you need town government's assistance, 914-962-5722, extension 200. That's my direct line, 914-962-5722, extension 200. My email, and I try to answer everybody, mslater@yorktownny.org. You can get in touch with me all through the weekend. I plan on being here, and we are here to make sure that government continues to run, that you continue to receive the services that you need, and we'll continue to provide these updates. Should there be no new information over the weekend, I will be hosting a Facebook Live town hall to answer any questions you might have on Sunday afternoon. We'll be sharing the details of that at a later point over the weekend. But if there is no new information and we do not have information to share at one of these briefings, I will do a Facebook Live town hall meeting to answer any questions you might have. And we'll be sharing more information about that on our Facebook page and town website. And with that being said, again, our restaurants are open. My takeout order is ready to go across the street, and I encourage everyone to stay home, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.